Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the webinar today. Let me give you a quick outline to the webinar that we are going to conduct. So this is basically to learn step-by-step, instructions and tips on how to declare investments through Zoho. It's a user-friendly platform. And during this session, our expert will cover everything you need to know to accurately declare your investments, ensuring compliance. And this webinar is designed to empower you with the knowledge and tools to streamline your investment declaration process. So this particular webinar is going to be, this topic will be guided by our in-house expert, Priyanka Patil, and let us understand Zoho Payroll Portal more in detail. And if you would have any questions, we will have a question and answer round as well at the end. So yes, Priyanka, thank you so much for joining the call. You can start with the discussion.
Thank you, Baba, for a quick introduction. And hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar because this webinar is going to be very important because as I will be taking you through the declaration process and also I will brief you about some investments and also guide you how to declare those investments on Zoho Payroll portal. Yes, so let's quickly start. So first, let me present my screen. Okay, so as you all know that we are in new financial year 2025-26. So this is the time for you to declare your investments on Zoho Payroll portal. So you have to declare your investments from April to January month. Now let's see why declaration is important. Investment declaration is very important as it helps to reduce your taxable income and it maximize your enhanced salary. So basically this is a tax saving process. It helps to save your taxes. Also you need to keep few things in your mind that you can declare your investments on portal only when the declaration window is open. So every month the declaration window is open from 7th to 25th of the month. So you have the opportunity to declare your investment during this period. And secondly, you don't have to upload any documents right now. You have to submit your actual investment proof at the year end in February and March month. So you will receive separate updates about it in around January month. So currently you have to only declare your investments which you have right now. Now let's see how you can actually declare your investments on Zoho Payroll portal. So firstly, you have to log into your Zoho Payroll account. After login, you will see investment tab on left hand side of the screen. You have to simply click on investment tab. Then if you see, you will see two options here. One is investment declaration and second is proof of investments. So currently you have to select investment declaration. Then if you see, you can see here a help document as well, which is on the right side of the screen on the top. So if you have any difficulties or if you require any guidance, you can take help of this help document also. Then you have to click on declare investments to proceed further. So this will take you to the new page here. So if you see here, all the investments are listed here, like house rent allowances, let out property, ATC, ATD, and other investment. So you have to simply select the investment, mention all the required details, and fill in the amounts for those investments. Once you are done with the filling of the declaration, you have to click on save and compare regimes. So if you see here, you have to opt for old tax regime or new tax regime. So here you have to take a note that you need to be very careful while you opt for between the tax regimes, because you have this opportunity only once in the during the financial year in first month of your declaration. So if you opt for old tax regime, so for whole year your tax will be calculated as per old tax regime itself. In next month you will not get opportunity to opt between these tax regimes, because it is as per standard income tax guidelines that you can opt between old or new tax regime only once in the financial year. You will get opportunity to switch between tax regime at the year end while you submit your actual submission of the proofs or during your income tax return filing. So once you opt for old or new tax regime, you have to click on submit. So make sure that you click on submit, because if you don't click on submit, your declaration will remain in draft status. So you have to make sure that you click on submit, then only your submission, your declaration will be submitted. Now suppose you have declared everything, you have declared all your investments, but you need to edit or change your declaration, or you need to add something in declaration, you can do so. So you will get one option as edit POI under investment declaration. So you can click on it, and again you can update your declaration. Also you can add any declaration if you want. Again, once you are done with the updation in your declaration, you have to click on save, and then you have to click on submit. So like this, your updated declaration will get submitted. So this was all about the declaration process. So how to declare your declaration of Zoho Payroll total. Now we will see which are the investments that you can declare for tax saving purpose. So first is house rent allowance. So if you are staying in a rented house property, you can claim it for tax saving purpose. So you have to just mention rental period for current financial year. You have to fill in the monthly rent amount, mention the address of the rented house. You have to choose whether you are staying in a metro or non-metro city. And landlord PAN is mandatory if your annual rent amount is more than rupees 1 lakh. So if you see here on declaration page, you will get option as are you staying in a rented house? You have to check the box as yes. Then only you will able to fill all the required details. So you have to mention the rent period. You have to mention monthly rent amount. Mention the address of your rented house property. Select whether it is a metro or non-metro city, and fill in the landlord PAN detail. Next is home loan. So if you are repaying a home loan for self-occupied property, you can claim that as well for tax saving purpose. So you have to fill in principal and interest amount. So here you will get the option as are you repaying home loan for a self-occupied house property? Again, you have to check the box as yes. Then you have to mention principal paid on home loan and interest paid on home loan. Then mention name of the lender and lender PAN. So we'll get all these details from the provisional certificate that you receive from your bank. Then next is letter property. So if you are having a letter property, you can claim it for tax saving purpose. So on declaration page, you will see do you have a let out property with or without rental income? Check the box as yes. Then mention the annual rent received amount, municipal taxes paid. So the net annual value will get auto calculated by the system based upon the input which you have provided, like annual rent received, municipal taxes paid. Also, you have to check the box as I'm repaying home loan for this property. Now, suppose you have one more letter property, you can also claim that. So you have to click on add later property, and again you have to fill all the required details as which are mentioned here, like annual rent receipt, municipal taxes paid, and so. So this was all about later property. Next is ATC investment. So the maximum limit for ATC investment is rupees 1,50,000. Under ATC, you can claim life insurance premium, children tuition fees, mutual funds, ELSS, and so on. So on declaration, you will see a separate tab for ATC. Once you click on it, you will see all the eligible investments which are for under section ATC. So you have to click on the drop down and you will see all the list in the drop down. At the time, you can select one investment and you have to declare the amount against it. If you want to add more investment under ATC, click on add investment. Again, choose the investment from the drop down and mention the amount. This is how you can claim for ATC. But you need to note here is that if there is a PF deduction from your salary, you don't have to again claim it here for deduction because the system auto considers provident fund which is deducted from your salary. So you don't have to declare it again here. So this was all about ATC. Next is about ATD investments. So under ATD, you can claim mediclaim policies for yourself, spouse, child, or parents. Again, for ATD, you will see a separate tab. Again, you will see all the mediclaim policies which are listed in the drop down under ATD. So you have to select one at a time, mention the policy amount. If you want to add one more, click on add investment. Again, select the claim policy from the drop down and mention the amount. One thing you need to note here is that wherever it is mentioned as senior citizen, that policy is for senior citizen, whether it is self, spouse, or children. It is a rare case, but be careful while you select the mediclaim policies from the drop down. Then is other investment. So under other investment, you can claim all these listed investment. So first is ATCCD 1B, which is for additional exemption on voluntary NPS. Then is ATDD, which is for treatment of dependent with disability or severe disability. Then is for ATDD-B, which is for medical expenditure for self or dependent or senior citizen. ATE for interest paid on education loan. ATG is for donations. ATTTA for interest from saving account. ATU is for permanent physical disability set. So if you want to claim this investment, you can get this option under other investments and exemption. Again, the process will be the same, like you have to select the investment from the drop down, mention the amounts, and if you want to add more investment, click on add investment. Again, choose the investment from the drop down and mention the amount. Then some of employees might have reimbursement as part of their salary structure. So if you want to claim those, you can claim it through other allowance details. So we will see other allowance tab. Under that, you can claim those reimbursement. Next is a very important one, that is donations, which are eligible under Section 80G. So Section 80G, this section allows taxpayers to claim deduction for their contribution which are made to certain relief funds and charitable organizations, which helps you to reduce your income tax payments. So now these donations are either eligible for 50% deduction or 100% deductions. So mostly the donations which are made to government are fully claimed at 100%. And the donations which are done to other organization or other than government, those qualifies for 50% claim. So the donations made should be only through check. If it is done in cash, only 2,000 rupees is exempted. So you have to make a note here that only check payments are allowed. Now this is the list of donation which is eligible for 100% donation. So if you see the list here, it is all about government. Like if you are making donation to government, this is the list here. So these all donations are eligible for 100%. One of the donation which is done to government like Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund is eligible for 50%. The donations which are done to private institution, temples, private organization, those are eligible for 50%. Now, while you are declaring for ATG, so you will get two options there. Once you select ATG donation, you will get two options. One is 100% and second is 50%. So suppose you are making donation to government, then you can claim it under 100%. But if it is other than government, you have to claim it under 50%. Just mention the full donation amount if you are claiming 50% amount. Then system automatic calculates it as per 50%. Why I'm telling is this because everyone just claim the donation amounts in the 100% itself. But at the time of year end, when you submit your actual investment proofs in February and March month, if it is in the verification, if we found that the claim you have done for 100% is eligible for 50%, then at that time you will be liable for high taxes, and simultaneously will get very less in hand salary as compared to your earlier months. So to avoid that, just check whether your donations are eligible for 100% or 50%. Claim it under suitable, like if it is for 100%, claim it also for 100%. If it is for 50%, claim it for 50%, so that the tax get divided in for full year. So there will be no burden for your tax deduction. So you have to be very careful while you claim for donations. So this was all about investment and declaration. Next is previous employment. So you will see a previous employment tab only if you are joining in middle of the financial year. Suppose you join in the middle of the financial year, you have to declare your previous employer details. Like you have to declare income tax, income after exemption, then total tax deducted, then professional tax and PF. So you will get all these details in your tax sheet which you received from your previous employer. So this is how you can claim for previous employment. So yes, this was all about declaration process, and I have already briefed you about declaration process, then which are the investments that you can claim, where you have to take care of. And yes, I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions, you can write to me, you can get back to me. I will just share my email ID in the chat box, so that if you have any questions or require any help during your declaration process, you can get back to me so that I can help you. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar, and I hope this will be very helpful for you for declaration process, for investments and everything. Yes, thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone for joining the call. And yes, you all would be having Priyanka's email ID. So if anything required, you can reach out to her, drop an email to her, and she will be prompt to respond to your emails and queries. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining the call. Bye-bye.